Hi, Mike here with another orienteering video. This time it's with the Georgia Navigator Cup in mid-January. I drove down in my camper van from Massachusetts. Sorry it took a bit long to get this video out, but after the event I did a week sightseeing around Florida, seeing some friends in the van with my wife. And then she flew back and I had to drive back through the storm. So it's taken a little while to get this one together. The event was very well organized as always by Georgia Orienteering Club, so thanks to them. Here's the course that I did, the Brown X course, and we'll take a look at the video and look at the live locks route, have a talk about what I did, what I thought, what I was thinking as I was going around. So I hope you enjoy it.
Y'all grab, y'all need.
We're here, we got you.
Don't hesitate to ask.
We're at the top of the mountain.
And we're off. Looks like there's a nice open space in front of us. That seems the way to go as I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the map. But in fact, what the course setter had done was kind of clever. That was not the way to go, and I eventually realized that and cut into the woods on the correct direction. Was aiming just for the side of that hill in front of me to pick up the trail and use the trail corner as an attack point to get into the control. Now, this was the same sort of technique, the course that I used on the day before's race, the Friday, where you go forward on the trail, straight from the start triangle, but that is not the right way to go, as you can see on the map here. You do need to cut off. Unfortunately, on both days, usually it takes like 1 or 2 seconds to orient the map. You don't get to see the map until basically you're at the start triangle. And so the first thing you're going to do is sort of figure out where's the start on the map. Usually happens very quickly. Turned out that in both these last 2 days, it took me an unusually long time to figure out where the heck the start triangle was. I don't know why that was. So quite a few seconds. Now we're going along the trail, and you can see that trail is marked with points on the trees, but it's a little bit difficult to see on the ground, and that might come into play later on. Just something to be aware of as you're excuse me, as you are going through the forest for the first time. But just going on a bearing to get to the first control. Should be coming up. I'm pretty confident there's some bare rock, there's some other rocky features, so I was pretty sure that I'd be able to find the control once I was in the area, and indeed it wasn't too difficult, and there it is, got the first control nailed, which is always a good thing to do. Alright, so for the second control, I guess you can see a couple of different possibilities. You could contour around, stay at the same sort of elevation. Look, you can see how open the woods are. Or you can go a little bit to the right, pick up the trail, and then go up the re-entrant. Since the runnability is very good, it's astounding compared to what we typically have in New England with a lot of boulders and things on the ground. I just decided to contour. You can see that the control is in a rather large flat rock area, and it's in a re-entrant. So I figured it would be pretty straightforward to follow it. And you can see here I'm just crossing the trail, so that gives me a good sort of checkpoint as to what's about half the distance. So the control will be coming up. Usually on this race, typically I didn't look in much detail at the control descriptions, the clue descriptions, to see whether it was on the east, north, south, or west, or corner, or whatever. Occasionally that was a problem. It lost me a couple of seconds, but here it was very straightforward to see the control. There it is. So second one done well. Now this next leg from 2 to 3 does look a little bit tricky because there's a lot of detail there. It looks like you can pretty much go straight and navigate your way through the green stuff, or you can drop down about sort of halfway along the leg to the trail and use that to guide you in. You can see I slowed down there because I'm just trying to sort of take a closer look at the map and see what's going on. And in the end, I pretty much decided to go straight. Could actually have gone right, further right at this point, and dropped down to the trail a little bit sooner, going to the sort of right through that rocky area. But I didn't do that, as you'll see. So we're just going around the hillside here. And if you see that light green after the rocky area there, you could go to the right or to the left of it. And here's the big open rock area that you can see in front of us. For some of the longer legs, I might speed up the video a little bit because I'm going pretty slow. I had done my back in a couple of weeks earlier, lifting my grandchild, was about 20 pounds in weight, whatever that is in kilograms, over the Christmas holidays, and I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to come down to this event, but I did. I basically went very slowly on the Friday, was able to pick up a bit of speed on the Saturday's race, and on Sunday's race was able to go pretty much my full speed. So here we go, I'm going around to the left of that light green area, trying to sort of see if I can spot, there's that boulder on the left that I saw. That was a good sort of checkpoint. And I can kind of see the green area ahead, and I know that I want to go just to the right of that, and there's a couple of features here that I can use as well along the way. Those little gullies. So I'm just going to go to the right of this thicker woods. With all the leaves off, it can be hard sometimes, depending on what type of vegetation it is, to spot the different vegetation densities on the ground. But there were plenty of branches, so I was pretty confident I was just around the right-hand side of this green area. You'll notice that in general I say to the right or to the left rather than north, south, east or west, because focus when you're orienteering is you want the map oriented in the direction you're going in. So that's why all these clips show us going from the bottom to the top, and therefore that's how I think about it. Do I go to the right or to the left? So we're coming up to this big open rocky area. I hadn't quite figured out exactly where the control was on it, because I hadn't looked closely enough at the circle and the description, which was, if I look at the description, it's the west side on the corner. But I kind of figure out this is where it is, coming up, hoping that it's around here, assuming it's around here, and it is around here. So I was happy to see that at that point. It's number 3 done, without too many mistakes so far.
20 minutes left.
I think that's a person that I'll see later on in the course as well. So this next leg, obviously you're not going dead straight because there's a lot of green. There is this ride going from left to right halfway along. I guess you could try and aim left and go for the open white woods, but I wanted to pick up that ride. I was a little nervous as to whether I'd be able to spot it, but it's supposedly on the corner of this open rock. And I did kind of see this, well, I did see this trail here leading up to this next big open rock area. So I was, so far so good on this leg. I knew I was coming up here. And then just aim for that far corner and hope I can spot a relatively runnable area through the green trees. Well, trees may not be green, but shown green on the map. Oh, some of them are green. All right, so can I find this ride, this gap between the trees? and fortunately it wasn't too difficult. I was hoping that this was it. And there's a bit of a trail on the ground, you can just about see it, so that worked out well. And looking at some other competitors on live locks afterwards, they also picked this up. I think this was definitely the right way to go. Then you've got to figure out what you're going to do at the end of the leg when you cross the road. And you can see the control is in a small reentrant. It's not actually the reentrant itself, but that's a really good way to figure out where the control is. And it's a bunch of bare rock next to a green. So I kind of figured you can go pretty much straight. You might want to go a little bit left to go around some of that light green. Depends how thick it is when you come across it. Here we are coming up to the road. And doesn't look too bad here. Cut the corner through the light green, which doesn't slow me down too much. I'm going at a pretty slow pace anyway, to be honest. Now, I think I made a mistake. I just told you that it was in the reentrant, but I think it's actually a little spur. And this was a mistake I was to make once or twice. Mistaken a reentrant for a spur. Get the contours mixed up. What's up and what's down. But I can see some rocky ground there. Isn't that the person we just saw at the beginning of this? They must have got ahead of me. Now I've clearly messed up a little bit. I thought I saw some rocky area and it wasn't the right thing, and I can see it through the trees there. So I go sort of through this darker green stuff. So not the best way to get out the control, having thought it was relatively straightforward. In fact, I did mess it up a little bit. There's that gentleman again. So I did lose a little bit of time on this one, unfortunately. All right, going to take a look at 4 to 5. Have a look at that and see what you think you might do. You can pause the video here if you want to think about it. So I was struggling over what to do on this. I looked at this leg a few times in the earlier part of the race and I wasn't quite sure. It was the climb at the end that was bothering me. I was wondering if there was a way to avoid that. But if you look through the contours though, you got to go a long way left to avoid them. So you could kind of go right round this way, but it was a long way out. You could go more or less straight. What I liked was the trail to the right, and I decided I would go generally towards that in this sort of direction and then pick that up and then just suck it up on the hill on the way in. So that's what I decided to do, and we'll see how it went. All right, off we go. Across the rock feature. Just using the compass to get the right bearing. Oh, I can see the edge of the green as well, and just use that to help get the direction right. Oh, there it is, a little bit green. Through some rougher woods, not exactly leaping over that log there. And the guy in green's got ahead of me. So we're going to be coming up to the trail here. And now there should be a sort of a little valley that I can see. As you can see, I'm veering off to the right of the straight line because I want to get out to that trail. And I can sort of see the valley here. And then you can kind of see the hill ahead. So it all looks like it's going to plan. In fact, there's the fallen tree with the rootstock you can see marked on the map and just going past. But I kind of seem to, for some reason, misjudge the distance a little bit. And you'll see in a moment that I was expecting to come across the trail a lot quicker than I actually did. Maybe it's because, as you can see, I started going left a little bit, and that meant that I'm always going parallel to the trail rather than going towards it. I'm not quite sure why I did that. Alright, let's just speed this up a little bit. And you can see that I sort of stay parallel to the trail. I'm veering towards it very slowly, but not nearly as quickly as I was expecting to. So let's take a listen to see what's going on here. Where is this trail? Okay, so I expected to come across the trail by now, and given the direction I thought I was going to go in, I should have reached it by now, and I hadn't. So that was a bit confusing. I was also getting a bit confused by the contours because height doesn't show up very well in videos. I was expecting that this was going to be a lot steeper than it was, and it wasn't. I think in general I sort of misinterpreted in my head the contour interval, which was 2.5 meters. I thought it was going to be on the ground a lot steeper than it was showing on the map. It was much shallower than I thought, and that kind of confused me, and then I had some difficulty figuring out where I was. But I kind of kept persevering. Let's just speed this up a little bit. Alright, now you can see some yellow markings on some of the trees ahead here. And indeed I'm at the trail here, but I couldn't really see a trail on the ground. I was hoping that these were these markings did represent the actual trail. But then I thought I should have been on ground that was much steeper. And the yellow markings weren't all in a straight line. So that confused me some more as well. Then I kind of saw this re-entrant to the left, and thought that I would just go down there because I didn't want to go up the hill. That confused me a bit as to why the trail would suddenly go up the hill. But in fact, if you look at it on the map, it does go up the hill. So I don't know what I was thinking. I was in general a bit confused. So let's jump ahead to get to the sort of stream at the bottom. So I know I'm coming up to the stream. I can kind of see it ahead from here. So I know I'm at the bottom of the valley, but I don't quite know where I'm at or what's going on. As we end up getting near the stream, I sort of make a stab, guess that I'm in the right place. And in fact, you saw some more yellow markings, which I'm pretty sure indicate the trail. I was hoping they would, but I wasn't very confident because I couldn't see a trail. But I did cross over here. And then you can see the ground going up ahead of me. You see more yellow markings on there. And it's all going to become clear in a moment that I am in the right direction, even though I haven't taken kind of the best way that I was planning on doing it. More yellow markings. Oh look, there's is that Ian Finlayson I see in front of me. He's going to run up the hill. I'm going to plot up it. So everybody's going up here, so I now am pretty certain that I'm on the right trail. Just going to go up to the rocks on the top. They're all leaving me in the wake. And I'll get to the control at the top. So let's just speed up this slog up the hill. Ah, if only I could run this fast. Of course, the next leg, 5 to 6, which I'm starting to think a little bit about, is also a bit tricky, so we'll come on to look at that in a moment. So we're almost there. Here's the rocky area. I can see people have come out of the control. It's just to the left. There it is. So, finally made it. Okay, so here's the 5 to 6. So have a think about that, see what you might want to do with it. There's a bit of climb at the end. If you want to try and avoid that, that's difficult because of all the green stuff to the left of the straight line. You could go mostly in a straight line, or what about shooting down the hill on that trail to the right, going all the way down to the bottom, and then working your way across and up the re-entry to the control. I decided to go pretty much straight, so let's see how that went. Okay, so we are just making a start here. Follow the trail for a little bit, just till I get to the other trail. I'm going pretty slow, partly because it's uphill, partly because I'm still sort of figuring out the route a little bit. So that's the trail we're just crossing over. You can see that I'm just to the right of the hilltop, just to the left of me. I think I can see those boulders off to the right. I should be starting to turn to get into more of a, more in line with the straight line. I'm just kind of tempting to go down this little shallow re-entrant here. Again, the contours were fooling me a little bit. I thought it was going to be much steeper than it actually was. But now I'm going sort of around this spur. I remember that at this point I did realize I was sort of contouring a little bit, which is why I was flat instead of going downhill. So we'll speed up until we start getting to these gullies. These woods in Georgia are certainly really nice at this time of year. Very nice to move through. There we go, I could see the gully ahead of me. I wasn't 100% sure that it was the one that you can see on the map. I wasn't quite sure if I was at the spot, but then I saw the two gullies converging and I knew that this is where I was. So I just follow this down. I'm in a rather slow speed. Maybe let's just speed this up a little bit. That's better. If only I could run this fast in real life. So here we are going across the ditch at the bottom. And you can see on the map just to the right of me there's a big gully and a smaller one off it, and I can see those in the distance. So we're approaching them now at normal mic speed. And here I can see this gully junction, so I know exactly where I am here now. And I've kind of drifted a little bit to the right from what I think would be an ideal route, but nevertheless we will keep going. But let's go faster. I can see that in my line at the top of this spur there should be a tower, and there's a boulder a little bit further on, and maybe I can use those just to help guide me along the way. I thought the tower was going to be a pretty obvious thing to see, but didn't turn out that way. But have a listen. Oh, there should be a tower here, but I can't see it. Oh well, I was pretty sure I was in the right place, so to speed it up again, and we're going to head off towards the boulder, which I do actually spot on the left coming up, although it's a bit hard to see in this film. There it is. It's a good confirmation that I'm on the right way. And now you can just use the contours to navigate in along with the compass. See the little entrance on the left that we're just going into. You see the valley ahead that's going to our left. I'm just going to go up that a little bit and then up the spur on the other side. There we go, crossing the valley floor. So this leg is working out pretty well, although, as I said earlier, I think I would have drifted a little bit further to the right. It would have been ideal. On the other hand, it meant that I could use that boulder, and in theory I've used the tower to confirm where I was, but never found that tower. I wonder if anybody else did. And there's some rocks coming up ahead. Again, I don't know that I really looked closely enough at the description to figure out exactly which rock it was. But you can see that person going to it, and you can see the control up ahead. So, got this one done. So you can see those two younger folks doing what a lot of orienteers do until they're more experienced, which is figuring out how to get to the next control while they're at that control rather than planning ahead. And you saw that I went in, punched the control. Well, okay, punch is an old-fashioned word. When we used to have pin punches. Used my SI stick to tag the control and was immediately on my way out. So this one is sort of contour around a little bit, but basically stay along the straight line. So try not to lose too much height here as we get started. And you can see the big boulder ahead there. So I was mildly concerned as to whether I would be able to follow all the features going to the control. But in the end it wasn't too bad. So let's just speed this up as we go. Well, we'll let the West Point orienteer get ahead of us. Letting him get ahead as if I had any choice in the matter. Let's speed things up now. Alright, I think he's going in the same direction I am, looks like it. So we can just follow the contours. And there's another tower coming up. And I wonder if, and I never spotted this tower on the ground as I was going ahead, but as I'm playing back the video, look what I found. And there's the tower. Now I know what it looks like. So we're just going to carry straight on. You can see I'm looking around a little bit to see if I can find the tower, but I can't. There's a ride coming up that is about here. Wasn't sure I'd be able to spot it on the map. Didn't really need it to confirm where I was going because I could see that I was going in the right direction. I could tell that I was going to be coming up to the rocks. And there's quite a few features around there that control if you're in the straight line area. There's the hill that should be off to the right of the control, and there's the green and the rocky ground, and it should be coming up to some rocky ground fairly soon. And because the visibility is so good, and you can see another competitor coming in there from the right. And you can see the boulders off to the right as well. So I know I'm in the right side of place. And you can see the West Point Orienteer coming out of what was probably the control. And you can often use the competitor, the direction they're going into or coming from, to help get yourself to the control. So I headed straight for the green. Should have gone around it a little bit more. But just coming in, there's the flat rock face. And the control is just going to be around here. And there it is. And look, there's our fellow competitor in the green. I'm not sure who he is. But we have not seen the last of him yet. Alright, so that's another control done. Now, this leg, again, is a little bit tricky. I mean, you've got to go basically straight. I'm heading off in the slightly wrong direction at the moment. There we go, making an adjustment. You basically want to go in a straight line and just navigate off the features, checking them off as you're going along. So I think we'll speed this up, because it went pretty well actually. And the control was a drink station. Sometimes drink station controls are easier to see depending on how easy it is for the organisers to hide the water. So you can see we're keeping on a pretty much straight line here. And with the woods so open, it's not too difficult to stay on the line. I think I was just about able to spot that, the greener woods on the left. Oh, and there's the youngster going past. Should be coming up to the flat rocky area fairly soon. You can kind of see the hilltop, the shallow hilltop. And here's the flat rocky area. It's going to go across that, and then the controls should be basically straight ahead of us. You can see the rock feature ahead there, so the control should be just behind it. And the drinks were hidden apart from that black trash bag on the top. I didn't actually need a drink this time because the weather was pretty cool, so I wasn't overheating. Alright, this leg on the face of it looks a bit tricky.
Hello.
There's Phil Bricker, fellow New York member. Why am I still standing around this control? I didn't think I took a drink there, but
There.
I must have done actually. Oh, and there's the orienteering green. Anyway, so how do you get to the next control? Well, pretty much straight. You'll see there's a giant rock area just to the right of the straight line, about 2/3 of the way along, and that should be a pretty good feature to help guide you in. So you're just going off the compass. I was just going to make my way down to the road, whichever way seemed easy enough to do. Didn't really matter exactly which line you went in to get to the road, because again there's bends on the road, and so you can use those to figure out exactly where you are when you get to the road. And Phil's a pretty good navigator, so I could follow him if I needed to, which I didn't. So here we are at the road. Basically just go straight across it. You don't need to figure out which boulder is which. Just need to keep moving in the right sort of direction. You can use the... Why am I stopping? Come on, Mike, get a move on. You can even use the contours as well and ignore the boulders. There should be a shallow re-entrant just off to the right a little bit, which we're generally going towards. And you can see the, there you go, you can see the large boulder cliff area, whatever you want to call it, off to the right. So I think we'll speed this up to get to the control, because nothing much else happens other than I carry on in the right sort of direction. I remember ticking off these boulders that were just sort of going through as my last checkpoint on the way into the control. Alright, so we're just going to speed this up a little bit. And here we are, running green. There's the control. And on to the next one. Now take a look at this and see what you think might be your plan on this one. I felt that this re-entrant going up the hill was very inviting. It's on the blue line. Oops, blue line. It's on the straight line, but it's blue or purple. I don't know. It looks more like purple, I guess. So straight is pretty much what I decided to do. Can't really see anything better. I think I might have considered going straight and then going right to the road and then turning right on the road up to the second corner and coming in around the hill, but because it might be faster going up the road than going up the re-entrant, but I just decided to go straight. So we're just coming down the hill. There's the gentleman in the green top again. And get across the marsh, across some gullies on the other side, up to the road, up the re-entrant, up the hilltop. So that is pretty much what happens. I think we'll just speed this up now and get you there sooner rather than later. Right, here we go. Should be able to see the gully coming up in a moment. You see it ahead there. Just have to cross that. At least that's the smaller gully. If I'd have gone a bit further left, I'd have been in the deeper one, and with my knees. It can take me a while to cross a deep gully, but here we are. You can see the road coming up. because of the vegetation change on the side of the road. Straight over the road, you can see the re-entrant ahead of us that we're going to go up. Or we can actually contour along the hillside a little bit. I'm only following the man in green because he's going the right way. Up the hill, you can see the top of the hill ahead of us, straight ahead of us, where we're going to go. If it would have been a taller hill bump, might have contoured around a little bit to the right. I think I decided to go right just a little bit to avoid some of the climb. But again, kind of my misjudging of the contours. The land wasn't as steep as I thought, so it really didn't save anything. And there's the control feature ahead. I can see multiple people coming into it. Oh, there's that West Point guy. I bet he was doing a longer course, that's why he's coming in from a different angle. So here we go. Slowly. All right, let's see what the next leg looks like. So I guess if you're unsure of your navigator, you could maybe go to the right, even out as far as the road, and back in on the trail. And look for a trail corner, but I was basically going to go straight with a little bit of contouring to avoid losing too much height, but it's pretty shallow, as you can see, so straight's the way to go. Time to speed this up again. So we're just going through the nice Georgia woods. And you can see that on the line just before the trail there is some boulders that we might be able to spot, which would be a good guide that we are going in exactly the right direction, but the compass wasn't too difficult to follow, especially in these open woods. So I veered a little bit to the right there, I'm not sure why. I think the boulders are just off to the left there. Took a quick glance at them. You can see the trail coming up and back to the normal slow speed. Here we are on the trail. What am I looking for? Maybe just look, oh yeah, I was looking to see that corner that's ahead there, just to sort of judge that I'm on the right, that I know where I am on the trail. So I could tell roughly how far away I was from the corner, and that this was the direction to go in. Then there's a little shallow valley ahead, and I should be able to pick up the control site through either directly going to it and seeing the rock in these open woods, or maybe seeing the little patch of green to the left of it. And if I go too far left, I'll see the bare rock, and if I go too far to the right, I'll come across some more green. So let's see. Yeah, I can just see the controller head there. Now the next one coming up, I took a slightly different route than most people. I had my reasons, which I will explain in just a moment. Just as soon as we tag this control. Oh no, it wasn't this one, sorry. It was the one after. This one just looked like a case of kind of going straight and try and figure out where the green is. You'll see that I wasn't very successful at that. So it kind of looks okay here. But with these young trees, the visibility isn't as good, but it shouldn't really stop you from going on the compass bearing. Well, you don't really know how thick that big blob of green is going to be. That's about 2/3 of the way to the control. It's hard to map green sometimes. So I get kind of pushed left from that patch of green on the right, and then didn't really regain my direction. I wanted to go further right than I am and go around that big blob of green into the control from the right hand side, but you can see I am going much further to the left. In fact, I'm going to hit this this flat rock. So that control up ahead, I know it's not my control, but it's always so tempting just to go up and really double check, because occasionally it is your control if you've really lost track of where you are, but it isn't. And it takes me a moment, but I do figure I've got to get around this fallen sort of branches and trees. I do realize what's happened and I need to go off to the right, where I will no doubt find the control. So off we go. You can see another sort of patch of bare rock there. Which is marked on the map. And in fact you can follow it, a little sliver of bare rock that will take us straight to the control. So there we go, lost a bit of time on that one. That was unfortunate. I say it was unfortunate, it was just bad navigating. So this is the one that I did a little bit differently. So basically go pretty much straight to the road, and then most people carried on going straight to the woods to the control. What I decided to do was hit the road and go left to the second corner, and then go straight to the control, just skirting the green area. I felt with my legs getting tired that I'd be able to make faster progress on the road than I would if I went straight through the woods. And I'd also be doing a little bit more down than up if I went straight. So that was my plan, and I stuck to it. There was literally no point in looking at that control. I mean, I can glance at it, but it was nowhere near where I needed to find my control. So, see the gentleman in green goes off into the woods there, and I go around the road. And I have not speeded up the video. Yes, I am actually running a bit faster now. So I'm running along the road thinking, hope I made the right decision. Well, it's a decision and it's what I'm sticking with. So I'm going to go around this first corner, come up to the next corner, and then I'm just going to dive into the woods after the green patch. And it's cleared up enough for me to get in. Which should be about here. So, here we go. Don't hit the tree. Yep, there you go. Across a little gully. And you can see the shape of the hill just to the right of the center of the video. So I know the control is just sort of round the back of that. Oh, there's a fallen tree. Do I go around it? Do I leap over it? I step over it carefully. No leaping over things at my age with my legs. All right, here we go. So you can see the top of the hill there, just to the right of me. I want to say just to the left of that. And it should be coming right up to the control. Man in green on the right there. So I guess we took about the same time. Because he was just ahead of me when I got to the road. And there's the control. Oops. You okay? You okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now we've all done that. We've all fallen over at some point. Last year I had a fall in a marsh, sank up halfway up my thigh, and then got a cramp in my leg at the same time. Alright, so now on the way to the last control, just take a straight compass bearing pretty much. Go straight, might be able to see the light green on the other side of the big track. A bit hard to distinguish it at this time of year. I've never been competing in Georgia at times other than their annual January event, and I wonder what it would be like sometimes in these woods at different times of year, whether the visibility would be much tougher when the leaves are out, whether the green area might be more defined. Maybe I should try that sometime. I guess if they held the Nationals or the Masters or the North American Champs, maybe I'd go down to that. You see, I'm going through the light green, it's not that challenging. Well, there's a bunch of fallen branches, so if you can pick your way through it, that's fine. And there is the last control. Either one, pick your choice. And then just running hard to the finish. So, made a few mistakes, nothing major. Enjoyed the run. Weather was nice. And it's good to finish. So I very much enjoyed the race, and the results not too bad, reflected more or less what I did. I'll show you the result for both the class that I did, M65, and then everybody who was doing the Brown X course. Once again, my thanks to Georgia Orienteering Club for putting on the event, and hope to see them again next year at the same time, different place. Bye for now.